Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Bridgerton, Season 2, Episode 7.
Harmony.
I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you for the well wishes. I'm still a little bit sick, but... What?
Okay.
Is this what you've been afraid of the whole time?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no.
With Edwina?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hate it. Every single moment that they have any interaction, she's like, well, if I can't even do it. I'm so mad.
Well,
she just is like, oh, yes, that reminds me of betrayal, which reminds me of you and your stupid cunt face. And it's just like, whoa.
Well, because there was a moment in like the first 10 minutes where they were standing next to each other.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, God, was I that stupid? Like, and you were like, I kind of love this.
That I was like, if we're going to continue with this, where it leans more back into the screwball part of it. And Edwina is sort of like, oh, what a dummy I was. Like, whatever, I'll find another match or whatever. But she's still so fucking butthurt.
So I loved Edwina, and I was rooting for her. And I think she's largely been a great character.
Yeah.
But I think, again, it's like, because there was like 3 separate occasions in this episode where she was like, I should have known that you'd betray me.
Yeah.
And it I think it does a disservice to what we've seen.
And a lot of well, if that's just another lie you've told me. And I'm like, I'm so sick of it. And like, here, I want to say something about book to movie adaptations for a minute, because, or like book to movie, book to TV show, whatever. I appreciate that they are different storytelling mediums. I am aware of that. I know that that's a fact. I know that you have to do different things. But I think when you are basically going against the inner nature of your character in order to make drama for your TV show, you're not doing an adaptation. Then you should just be doing something else. You shouldn't be adapting this then. Like, to me, it's senseless what's going on with Edwina. It doesn't do anything for me or the story. It's just like yet more roadblocks and like more and more information just to make Kate feel guiltier about doing this thing.
So I don't...
Which they are trying so hard still to not do up until the last 5 minutes of this episode.
I don't understand why Anthony and Kate can't just be together.
It's still scandalous. He's just like trading one sister for the other.
How is that better than what they ended up doing?
I think it would make Edwina look worse that she got jilted for her sister, but I don't really know. That's the thing.
You and I kept sort of waiting for the Tawn to sort of be like, because it just makes more sense where it was like, well, for society reasons, we were trying to make these two work.
Yeah.
But clearly, like, it explains her running away at the altar. Like, and also it's not like that's not a thing that you like fall in love with. I don't know. I accept your answer that it would be scandalous, but I don't understand.
Well,
how.
Okay, so no, well, because it would also make Kate look bad that she stole her sister's.
Yeah,
fiance.
But she didn't though. It's just
okay.
So...
I am fully on your team. I'm fully aware of that. The thing, I can't even speak to any of it because they went so far around the ass of the book to get to the elbow of the show that none of it makes sense. It totally doesn't make sense because it was meant to be this just sort of like simmering under, like, you know, not even seduction, but this like simmering under sexy, like back and forth. And we mentioned screwball a couple of times between Kate and Anthony. And instead of letting that happen while Edwina is like potentially maybe thinking about Anthony, but also like, other dudes are courting her kind of a thing. She wants to be with a scholar. Anthony's not a scholar. Whatever. It's just like what it was supposed to be was that. And what it has turned into now is this sisterly betrayal and a society-wide scandal on top of the further society-wide scandal of now Eloise being outed as having a relationship with a nobody boy. And it's just like, it's too much.
I feel like we've already seen worse scandal that ended up being for nothing. So it's like at a certain point that becomes an empty threat that it's scandalous because, and especially when it's so relatable, it's so obvious what's happening. And I was praising it earlier where I said, I kind of love good old fashioned, straightforward melodrama. And
this left straightforward 3 stops back.
Well, so where I got annoyed is I understand that she doesn't like storms. I got that. Because at first I started to kind of be like, I love thunderstorms, so I'm a little bit judgmental of people who are afraid of thunderstorms.
They also haven't landed her being afraid of thunderstorms.
Well, we saw the scene, but when she threw down the word monsoon, I was like, okay, that's different. I was like, so she's afraid of the storms. But it's like, I couldn't logically make that final 5 minutes make sense. Because it's like, so they had ill-advised sexual intercourse outside at a party that it's like it wasn't happening, but it wasn't not happening. I mean,
people were still awake.
And furthermore, it's even odder because the only people at the party was their family.
Yeah.
And it was really strange that it happened.
Then I have further questions. How'd she get home?
They sleep through the night.
Yeah.
She gets home. It's clearly raining because that's like what wakes
Anthony
him up. So it's raining when she leaves the house on this horse ride. And yes, they've established that she goes horse riding in the mornings, but it's like, why? Because there was a part of me where I almost was like, is she trying to ride back to India? And you could say, well, she was trying to clear her head. That doesn't work for me. It doesn't if she is this afraid of thunderstorms, why would she go out in a thunderstorm to clear her head? And furthermore, what happened? He was so like, it was like he had a premonition because we've seen her clear that thing before. And so she's riding up on it this time and he's like, no! And then the horse like gets to it and just stands up. Like it didn't jump it. It just stood up.
I think time like slowed down. So it looked like the horse was rearing back and not jumping. It didn't actually stand up. But like time paused in his mind because he was so scared. It was a directorial flourish.
It was not. And so they
didn't just like find a horse that can stand up on its hinders for this.
And so she just sort of like, but she didn't even do that. I don't know. It was very weird.
Yeah.
It was giving me telenovela. And
sure.
I was waiting for you to be like, she's dead.
No, she's not. I mean, I don't know. She doesn't die in the book.
That would almost 180. Yeah, like that would almost bring it entirely back around. I don't know. I thought it was really I think the plotting and I think the overall production of season 1 was very good.
Yeah.
It had sort of moments of like, I think this season started out well, and again, you saw it coming, but it's sort of like, I don't know. Well,
I do have a different angle on it because I really liked the book so much, and so I'm disappointed that it's different, but I could be less disappointed that it was different if they were doing different better.
They haven't given me enough reason why they can't be together. It would be as simple as if someone would have made a bigger deal that, like, if she was like a bastard or something.
Yeah.
They won't give me a shiny button for me to, other than it's just not proper. And I'm like, well, neither was how Daphne and Simon got together.
Nobody knows that except for Anthony, though. Yeah.
It's verged into parody the way that they're constantly like,
because
we can't be together, but they're like,
they really are just like breathing each other's CO2 constantly. Maybe that's why they're making bad decisions. There's not enough oxygen in their brains. Because that's the other thing. I feel sort of the flip side of what you just said, where it's like, you're like, there's not enough reason for them to not be together. And in my opinion, I haven't been given enough proof that they should be together. I'm filling in these gaps on my own because I've read the book. But so far, all they do is yell at each other and then breathe each other's CO2 and then yell at each other and then like cry. And I'm like,
so I think the actors have good chemistry, and I think that their intensity is well matched.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting a lot out of the longing glances that are.
But like, you're right. At the beginning of the episode, when Edwina was like, was I that blind? Am I the only one that like didn't see it? Blah, blah, blah.
I would rather that this was just the town's worst kept secret.
I agree with that 100%. And also, like, at that moment, I thought we were going to like a funny comedy place with it. And instead, we're just still having these like just deadly serious talks about duty to your family and like, I've sacrificed so much. And like, I'm just and they did bone blessedly, but also, come on, like.
It also was kind of a
and
retread.
Antony's a generous lover, at least.
Yeah, but wasn't it just sort of a retread of the Wildest Dreams?
Well, that was an entire montage of like
bralette and all.
Well, yeah, she basically was wearing Daphne's underwear, but.
I don't love when things feel counterintuitive, because it's like we spent the first 20 minutes of this episode pretend like these two families are in a room together trying to discuss how they could ever be in a room together again, and it was very odd. And they go on the separate walks, and their very stupid plan is not succeeding. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I said was like, why aren't they just together? Like, if they just just gaslight the rest of the people. And be like, there's nothing weird going on here.
Because also, I find it extremely unrealistic that this one only vaguely scandalous thing is now the ruin of both Lady Danbury and all of the Bridgertons. Like, everyone is just looking at them being like, ew, cooties. Like...
And that's what I mean, where I'm just like, pretend like it's like it didn't even happen.
Yeah,
because they keep saying that like it's a private matter, and I was like, so go with that. And I liked all the rest of it. Like I actually love the two families, and when they had the ball that didn't.
Oh, it was so cute. They all just like did it, and it was Antony's choice, which I think was really important to show that he's not a total stick in the mud 100% of the time. But he was like, let's do a dance. And he brought Hyacinth and Gregory down to dance too, which was really cute because they're still too young to go to balls. And then they just like had this really great dance, and they all, it's like a inter-swapping
It like just showed that their families are actually good together. Yeah. Like,
and then Edwina was just a real bitch again.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
There was no reason why.
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
there's no reason.
Okay. There was also a very rich scene where Antony read
Benedict for filth. What the hell, man?
Oh, is this what you've been up to? Is this your education? And I was like, I was gonna say something really vulgar.
Benedict's an artist, and also is after hours, and
we have seen your
To which also Benedict was like, it's a party. Like, this is not class time. This is a party. I don't know. He had a lot of nerve.
I was going to be like, your dick is still wet from last week.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about this plot with the Queen and Eloise, because again, it's circumstantial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that for me, it's that thing where I'm like, it just makes more sense to me that Eloise likes a boy from the wrong side of the tracks than that she's this mastermind.
This is a trope that I can't stand in anything, because Eloise was trying to say, no, I'm not. And the Queen was like, denying it will only make your punishment more severe. And I'm like, okay, but like, it's like when you're being tortured and you're like, I don't know anything. And the person is like, bullshit. And then they drill a hole in your foot or whatever. And you're like, why would you keep lying if you have a hole in your foot? Why would she keep lying to the Queen if it was true? If she had been found out by the Queen, I think she would have just been like, yep, my bad. I'll be nicer about you.
I guess it's the scandal of it all where I'm getting sort of hung up because I'm coming at it from a very modern mentality.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the places where, like, say, like the blind casting and all that throws me. It's because it makes me feel like we're watching progressive historical fiction. Mm-hmm. And
it is to a point.
It is. But then there's a handful of times where they're relying on very traditional tropes, and it's sort of taking me a little bit out.
I see that. I can see that.
I think that's one of the things that I'm having a slight conflict with. Because the other thing is, it's like I'm very vocal about how much I love the Queen, and it makes her look dumb.
And well, it makes her look also petty, because it's sort of like, why do you, the Queen, why do you care so much about? It's just a gossip.
That's what I think. That's what prompted me to say that, where I'm getting hung up, because it's like I understand that being. I understand scandal being an issue and a motivating factor for so many people's behavior and all that. But also, I think one of the best ways to triumph that is by not giving a shit. Yeah. So it's like by the fact that she's playing into it, she's just giving Lady Whistledown.
Well, it's not like Penelope is trying to bring down the monarchy or anything. She just is like,
she is challenging the Queen in ways that I don't know why she is.
I don't really either.
I would be more afraid of.
Yeah.
I would have more of like a RuPaul-esque reverence for Queen Charlotte than
I agree with that too.
I wouldn't test that, but
well, she goes to Madame Delacroix for counsel though, and she's like, I really don't know what to do. And Madame Delacroix is like, you need to say something shitty about Eloise.
It was decent counsel. I'm just frustrated now because I feel like it's going to be but minutes until Eloise finds out that Penelope has sort of thrown her under the bus and attempt to save her from the bus.
Well, yeah, because no one else knows about this kid. I get the Queen's footman, but
yeah. And the first thing Eloise did was go right back to him, and I'm like, you're gonna get him dead.
Well, and he also just was like, get the fuck out of my store. So I don't know. It's a little odd. She did ruin her. She didn't. We don't know how ruined she is yet, but she wrote a Whistledown article that was like she's been canoodling unchaperoned with.
That wasn't the part.
Wrong type of person.
It was the political radicals.
Well, yeah.
That this is England.
Yeah.
People like to talk about the First Amendment. This is one of those places where it's like, if you're consorting with people with like I said, people speaking ill of the crown, that is punishable by death. Like, that's treason. So,
yeah,
I don't know where that's gonna go.
Well, we got one episode left.
Portia and Jack are having.
Okay. I would love it if Colin could stop acting like he just fell off the turnip truck. What the fuck, Colin?
Didn't he though?
I mean, he's just gone on all these travels. We literally don't stop talking about Marina, and I'm tired of it now. Let's let Lady Crane live in peace, and then he's just like getting into this fake ruby mine business with Jack. He's gonna put all his fucking money in there.
I don't have any problem, or I don't have a big problem with characters making bad decisions or bad choices or whatever. I have a problem with characters being dumb.
Yeah.
And we have far too many characters being dumb at this point.
Yeah.
And that's sort of I share in your frustration. I never would have thought that we need fucking Daphne to come in and smack everybody straight in the face.
Right? Come on.
I never would have thought that. I was like, you know what we need is Daphne. To come in. And
also, we have somehow totally lost track of Francesca again. She just like ceased to exist again. She was in like the first 3 episodes.
Who the fuck is Francesca?
Their other sister.
Hyacinth.
Francesca.
There's another one?
Yes. Francesca. There are 8 of them, and it's the first 8 letters of the alphabet.
ABs. There's a G?
Gregory.
Who's Gregory?
The little boy, the cutie little boy.
Oh, the one that's with Hyacinth.
Yes.
Okay.
They're the youngest 2. Francesca's.
We need more people with brown hair in here.
We don't, but I like Francesca. They keep.
Based on what?
Books. They keep insisting she's a person. She's cast. She has an actress, but she's just not in it. And I'm like, okay, come on.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go watch the finale. We'll be back.